1525 to 1866, 12.5 million Africans were taken from their homeland and forcibly transported across the Atlantic, a journey that approximately 2 million of them would not survive. By the turn of the 18th century, European merchants were building vessels capable of transporting hundreds of enslaved people per journey. These ships had extra portholes for ventilation, weapons mounted on deck in case of rebellion, and additional compartments added below deck to take on more human cargo.
Look at that. Look at that. Why? So I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, black people aren't the only ones that happened to." Okay, why it ain't documented like this thing? Okay, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, I got a precept. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that's what you see happening to these people right here. In the Bible, exactly what happened to these people happened to the Hebrews. Okay? These people that this happened to are not Africans, they're Hebrews. God, okay, it's a difference between us. Okay, so
I got a precept.
Come on, bring it up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of the law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. So just like she said, it was estimated to about 2 million of them wouldn't make it off the ship because of the sickness that was going on. Right? You got it, brother.
Before boarding the ships at African port cities, enslaved people were stripped of their clothing and remaining possessions and had their heads forcibly shaved. During boarding, which could take weeks or even months, enslaved people lived on the deck of the ship in a temporary wooden house constructed by the crew. The crew also installed netting around the deck of the ship, designed to catch those enslaved who might opt for death over forced servitude. Once moved below deck, enslaved people would find themselves stuffed into compartments with ceilings as low as 4.5 feet, where they would spend most of their voyage. They were segregated by gender and age. Adult men.
You see that? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee in thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there, so that's what happened here. We got a whole nother king over us, ruling over us, telling us we got to take this off and take that off and cut our hair off. Right?
Were kept separately and shackled in pairs. Women usually left unchained in their designated compartments, and children often free to move about the ship. There were no sanitary facilities of any kind. Enslaved people were forced to relieve themselves where they sat, creating hellish conditions when combined with the heat and lack of ventilation below deck. Disease was rampant. Dysentery, malaria, yellow fever, smallpox, measles, and influenza ravaged the enslaved and crew members alike. The enslaved people generally spent about 8 hours a day above deck, but were still separated by gender, with a barricada, a reinforced wall that...
Hey, y'all just heard that, man. Let's get this precept. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 22. And the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. Okay, this is Hebrews under them curses, man. This is what it was like for us, man.
That could be used to protect crew members in case of a revolt. Enslaved people were also subject to forced exercise, which sometimes included dance and song for the entertainment of the crew. Enslaved captives deemed disobedient were tortured and beaten, usually whipped with the especially cruel cat o' nine tails, a tool designed to inflict maximum pain. Enslaved
You gotta
people
preach that.
used to eat their typical meal of rice and beans.
Hey, let me get one quick precept. Hold that precept, all right? This is the book of Job, okay? Chapter 30 and verse 9. And now I am their song. Yeah, I am their byword. They abhor me. They flee far from me and spare not to spit in my face. You see that? It's just, hey, now I'm their song, man. I'm their byword. They abhor me. Okay? That's what's happening right there, man. Beating it. Hey, go dance. Sing me a song. Hey, get up and dance and sing me a song.
Hmm.
Right?
Kai, this is the book
Hey,
of
bring it out.
this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 50. A nation of a fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shall show favor to the young. Right. So this is what we still go through today. Even back then, right? They didn't care about the children on the boat. They didn't care about the men, the young men, or the old women. And this is how we got to America. All right.
Were forced to do so, sometimes with a speculum oris, a medieval tool used to force open a person's mouth. Women, while usually left unshackled, were raped and sexually abused by members of the crew, sometimes arriving in the New World, carrying the children of their attackers. But it was the women, using their minuscule freedoms, who would often coordinate mutinies against their captors.
Hey, man, you heard that? Look at that. Right? This is the book of Deuteronomy. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Right? Look at that, man. You just take your wife, right? You in the cage, in a 4-foot cage, can't do nothing about it, man. Just take your wife, man, right there in front of you, right?
But these rebellions were rarely successful. The true extent of the horrors of the Middle Passage came to light in a 1783 court trial over the slave ship Zong. The Zong left present-day Ghana in August of 1781 with 442 enslaved on board. After a 2-month journey riddled with navigation errors, 62 enslaved people and 7 crew members had perished without reaching their destination. Disease was spreading throughout the ship, and fresh water was running dangerously low. Captain Luke Collingwood was afraid of the financial cost of more deaths. Enslaved people that died of disease were not covered by the ship's insurance, but the enslaved who drowned were. Collingwood ordered approximately 130 enslaved people thrown overboard. He claimed it was necessary to do so to halt the spread of disease. At the trial,
Man, look at that, man. Just throw you overboard, chained up. Or just throw you overboard, chained up. Right.
between the Zong's owners and